So here we are. If you don't know who I am, my name's John Conti. I am a professional videographer, filmmaker, cinematographer, if you will. I've been doing this for 8 years. I've been kind of doing the travel thing for 7. And about a year ago, I got really into backpacking. And it's been a long journey figuring out how to pack, what the right gear is, how to make this all work. But I finally feel very confident in my situation that I have going on here, and I want to share it with you. And the thing I'll start with is, you know, backpacking and the perfect backpacking setup is like a fingerprint. It's different for everyone. You know, your backpacking setup might be different from mine. My mother, who's 100 pounds and 70, I shouldn't say 70 years old. She called me and she was like, Jonathan, you said I was 70, I'm 67. My 67-year-old 100-pound mother will need a different setup than myself. I saw at Hell's Canyon this great setup. This guy had 5 children with him, and his setup was he had one small 2-man tent, and then all his kids had bivy sacks. If you don't know what a bivy sack is, it's basically like a sleeping bag tent. So my goal here today is not to tell you like this is the gear you need. Hopefully my goal today is like to prepare you for like how you can think about your situation and what'll work for you and how to just maximize you know, your experience in when you go backpacking. So first things first, I am a filmmaker and a photographer. So as you can see here, I have this plethora of really heavy camera gear. So we're gonna start with that. The other thing I should mention, all the gear I use and all the gear I recommend is down in the description. Those are affiliate links. That would be great. They help support the channel if you buy anything from there. I have a couple of different options under each thing that you can check out. Like I don't just buy gear for myself. I think I've bought 6 sleeping bags because I have a girlfriend. We have a 15-year-old. There's me. There's stuff that I buy for my solo trips. There's stuff that I buy for my family trips. So I have a lot of gear. So there's a lot of gear down there. And I lost my train of thought. Let's just get jumping into this. So the first thing I have to pack for is all my camera gear. So I start with this. This is an f-stop internal unit. I also have this little thing here that I could show you. So this is an f-stop internal unit. Basically, I can't find a backpack that has a built-in camera holder or camera gear holder on it. If you end up finding one of those, let me know. It's $1 million idea. So I start with this. What I use here is, this is the Mavic 2 drone, the Mavic 2 Pro. If you're into drones or you're looking at backpacking with drones, the Mavic series is obviously what I recommend. They also have the Mavic Air 2 right now, which is even smaller than this, and it's half the price. So if you're looking at getting into drones, this is what I'd use. I also use a polarizer on my drone that you can see here, that Circular Pro, or what is this? Polar Pro makes this. So if you want to up the ante, it's, you know, I'm a big believer in polarizers as someone that creates adventure films. So having one on my drone is super helpful. So the drone goes in first. Bam. My controller, I don't have the smart controller. It works with my phone. I'm bringing my phone anyways. So that's my controller. Batteries. I take 3 batteries with me, and there's a couple of options with batteries. Right now, I'm just taking the batteries I need, and when they're done, they're done. there's not a real good charger for drones yet. This is the drone charger. And it's too much. Like, I don't want to take this anymore. You'll see what I use for a battery charger in terms of my camera, and it is not this. So once I'm done with batteries, they're gone. I take another polarizer for my camera. This is also from Polar Pro. This is the one that Peter McKinnon advertises. I'm big believer in polarizers. And you know what? Spend some money if you're serious about photography. Spend some money on a decent polarizer. I think this one's like $150. It really pays off. It'll also keep, you know, your lenses safe and stuff like that. So polarizer in there. Next thing is, what camera do I use? This is the Sony a7S III. If you haven't seen me use it, this is a great camera. Again, do you need this camera? I don't know. Like, it's a $3,500 camera. Probably not. But the great thing about just photography equipment in general is that it's getting so much smaller and so much more powerful. One of my first adventure travel trips was to Baja, Mexico. I did 21 days, and that was the infancy of drones being commercial. So we had the Phantom 2, if you remember that, DJI Phantom 2. It was probably the size of like this, and we had a big Pelican case, and we dragged that across Baja just for 21 days, and it was a nightmare. We took it down into a canyon. We did get permission from the Mexican government, by the way. We had a whole guy that had to come with us for that trip just to watch us in case we messed up our drone flight. And I let Chad fly the drone the first and only time I let him fly a drone, and he crashed it on the first flight. So yeah, that's what we did. My lens is the G series lens. If you're into this camera, I'll go through this real quick. It's a 24-105 lens, f4. Kind of a workhorse lens if you're into it. You can get smaller microphones. If you've ever watched my videos, if you're a fan of my videos, I really believe audio is 51% of the story. I think most filmmakers will tell you that. It's kind of a staple. And this is the Rode VideoMic Pro. You can get smaller mics. I'll show you why later on. This mic doesn't bother me, and I love it. The quality is great. So yeah, that's what I use. My other lens is this one. This is the Sigma Art Lens 2.8. This is another great lens. It works with this camera, so the autofocus works. And at 2.8, it's a super wide 14-24. So you really need something. I really felt like I need something wide and a workhorse lens to make my films, because I mean, when I'm in places like Hell's Canyon, the Sawtooth, or stuff like that, I can't get the mountains, the framing right with just 24 millimeters. I have to have 14. And then at 2.8, I can use this for stars and stuff like that, which is great. The real tricky part about this lens is that the hey, thanks for a super chat, Forceman. Keep up the good work. We are going to the Sawtooth in this summer in part due to your videos. Looking forward to future content. Hey, thanks, man. Thanks for the super chat. I really appreciate it. It will definitely help. Okay, so the Sigma Art House lens, as you can see here that I'm about to show you. So it has these, the hood is built in. So you can't put a polarizer on the actual front of the lens, and it's kind of this circular shape. So what this lens is it's a rear mount lens. So your filters go in the back here. You can kind of see, let me get it. You can kind of see right here, this is where your filters will lock in with that little thing there. So I need neutral density filters. If you're going to be shooting at 2.8 in the middle of the day, you need what is a neutral density filter. The other thing I should mention to you, if you're not watching this live, if you're watching this later, I have timestamps for everything. in the bottom in the description. So if you're not into cameras and stuff and you want to skip ahead to the actual sleeping bags and stuff like that, you can skip ahead to each and every chapter. These are the neutral density filters. This is the set. HEADLAMP makes these. I hope that's how you pronounce it. And this is how they work. I'll just show you real quick. Take your little lens here. Come over here. Let's see. Kind of drop it in like that. Bam. Click. It locks. And now you have your rear filter lens on the back. So that's what I use for a wide lens, the Sigma Art House series. Sorry. Bam. That goes there. Lenses in here. We're going to zip this up. Oh, sorry. A couple more things that go in here. This is the new Zoom F2 lavalier microphone. If you're like me and you're vlogging or you're into YouTube, this is the new fancy lav mic. It's got 32-bit recordings, so you never clip. It's real cool. Most of you probably won't use something like that. It takes AAA batteries, just like my headlamp. So I have batteries, and this is my internal camera unit. And you're probably like, John, where's your camera go? I will get to that. As you can see, I have made this really, like I've added a little pad on there, and I'll show you why in a second. All my other stuff is in here. This is where my as you can see, all my batteries go. I'm taking 5 or 6 batteries. I don't know if that'll be enough, but I'm taking power, which I'll show you later. This is a charger. The normal charger that comes with, this camera is this. So, and that charges 1 battery. This charges 2. So make sure you get one of these smaller chargers if you're taking your camera out. Cards. I took this rugged thing with my cards. There's about 1.25 terabytes worth of cards in here. You can see the cards that I use down below. They're super fast. They work with this camera. So if for some reason you have a Sony a7S III, which I'm guessing most of you don't, they take a special card. It's down there. Other things I have in here are lens cloth. I always take a lens cloth, the cord for the charger, an Allen wrench, and this all goes in here and zips up. So let's throw that all in there. This is a hot mess. This is the part of doing it live where it's like, ooh, it's so nerve-wracking. Like, ah! Okay, so here we have all this stuff. I'm gonna move this to the side here. Move all that to the side here, and we're gonna get to that. Okay, so let's get into the actual backpacking. Again, like I said, backpacking is like a fingerprint. It's different for everyone. Your bag and my bag might not be the same. Also, if you're looking at YouTube and you're watching these ultralight people, a 25-year-old dude with no family or girlfriend going out solo, and he weighs 200 pounds and he's got like this really super ultra hyperlight backpack, like that is probably not what you're looking for. But this is an Osprey. This is the Osprey Atmos. Nope. Yep. Atmos 65 liter. Basically, what is important about this bag is the 65 liters. I find that 65 liters is the perfect size for me. You might want something smaller, but I love Osprey bags. I just think they're popular for a reason. They're kind of expensive. That's the other thing. Don't be cheap with your backpacking stuff or you're not going to have a great time. All of my stuff, all the stuff that I use isn't the most expensive, but it's definitely like above average in price. I feel like that's the sweet spot for backpacking. A lot of people say that REI is expensive. It's like, and I disagree. I mean, REI is expensive because they carry quality stuff. Like, that's why it's expensive. It's not more expensive than Amazon or something like that. This part of the bag, the sleeping bag quarter, I find that to be really kind of dumb, honestly. A lot of those hyperlights are getting rid of this thing. If you're at camp and you're pulling out your sleeping bag, you're pulling everything out of your bag. Osprey makes the Explorer pack. It's kind of their lightweight pack. It's 58 liters. I went with my buddy Andrew the other day to REI to kind of shop, and we ended up picking that bag out for him. I do like that bag, but for me, I am using the sleeping bag compartment to my advantage because, and this is gonna be, I hope Chad's not watching because he might have a panic attack and other people might have a panic attack. You know, the rule is when you pack your bag, heavy stuff goes in the bottom. Guess what the heaviest stuff in my bag is? What's up? That's why I have this pad here. So I have to remember, don't shove my, don't drop my bag. But my camera gear goes in first and it goes on the bottom. And then that sleeping bag compartment, which I think is useless, is now how I access my camera gear. So instead of having to pull everything out, I can just reach in here and there is my camera gear all at the ready. And it'll look, once it's all shoved down there, you'll see it better, and I'll show you better. But that's what goes in first, and I use my sleeping bag compartment that I don't really necessarily like to my advantage. If you have any questions, drop them in that comment section. Yeah, I hate those ultralight guys. I mean, I don't hate them, but they're not, it's like most of us have families. And if you have a family and you have kids or you have other people, I don't know about if there's any dads out there. It's like when Sarah and I go backpacking, it's always like, I'm carrying the tent, I'm carrying extra stuff, so I need a little bit more. And then it also, obviously I'm a professional filmmaker, I'm taking extra stuff, so I need a little bit more. Okay, what comes next? Next, let's just go with some other stuff that goes at the bottom to kind of fill this small part out. Let's go with my stove. You're gonna see that like all this kind of heavy stuff kind of is gonna fit in the bottom. So my stove system, I use the Jetboil. Let's put all this over here. I use the Jetboil system. This is kind of it. You can obviously get a lighter setup, probably kind of. This is pretty light. I did try to get the Jetboil Mini once. You can kind of see it in the Alice Talks Away videos. And the problem with that, and you know who owns Jetboil is Johnson & Johnson, which, I mean, whatever. They do what they do. So I'm a big coffee guy. Jetboil makes this really cool thing that turns your Jetboil into a French press. That's the main reason I have this. If you get the Mini, they only make this French press in one size. So just imagine this Jetboil on a Mini. You press it down, it stops there. And then you drink, and it's poking you in the eye. So I had to send the Mini back, and you just have to go with their normal one, the flash one, for the coffee filter to work. They actually make a cool Jetboil that's green, that's like the Java kit. I recommend going with that. It's really cool. You get everything you want, unless you don't drink coffee. Again, it's totally your thing. But I do like the Jetboil series. What I normally eat, I eat oatmeal in here, ramens, stuff like that. I'm not gonna, if I'm cooking like a steak or something, I'm cooking it on a rock. So yeah, that's my kit. Small MSR, normal fuel, all goes in here. And then this goes in the bag, kind of in the back, so behind my pushing my f-stop internal unit forward, okay? And then this just kind of sits on the, get in here. Brett was like, how are you going to pack that bag? Are you going to just go super wide and try to put it somewhere? It's like, All right, so jet boil's in there. That'll probably need redone. Next thing is sleeping pad. So what I'm using for a sleeping pad right now is this guy right here. This is the Climate Static V2. Let me show you a couple of climate options. Like I said, I buy a lot of stuff. Ugh. So here's all my climate sleeping pads that I've had. So the thing with sleeping pads is they actually contribute a lot to your warmth at night. If you're using a down sleeping bag and you lay on your back, when you compress down, it doesn't work. So just think about you're laying on your back, that down's compressed, it's not going to keep you warm. So the insulation in your sleeping pad is super important. There's this thing called R values for sleeping pads. Usually a sleeping pad is from 1 being the lowest, to 7. That kind of is your insulation. So the Static V has an R value. This is the 1. They upgraded to the 2. You can kind of see how much thinner they got. The Static V has a R value of 1.3. So it's not the warmest sleeping pad. This is the insulated Static V Lite. It's about 4 ounces. So this has 16.6 ounces. This is 20 ounces. But you can see that their bulk is way different here. You can kind of see here. But the Static V, the insulated Static V, has an R value of like 5. So way warmer. Oh, 4.4, sorry. So way warmer. So my rule of thumb for these is 32 degrees. If I'm looking at less than 32 degrees at night, I'll go with this one. If I'm looking for over 32 degrees, I'm going with this one. Where I'm going with my mother, the Rogue River Trail, we're looking at lows. She keeps texting me the weather every day. We're looking at lows in like 40. So I'm going with this one. It's smaller. And this is a really great product, Climate. I love their sleeping pads. Again, you know, they're pretty cheap too, honestly. All right, sleeping pad down. All right, we're starting to fill the bottom. You can kind of see it's almost like you can sit it there, almost. What next? Next is a chair. Do you need a chair? Probably not. I mean, honestly. Do you want to be comfortable out there? Bring a chair. This is I'm going to butcher this word, and I don't really care. This is the Helinox, I don't know what they call it. This has won so many awards. This is like the Chair Zero. It's this super ultra light chair here that you can get. I don't know exactly how much it weighs, but I mean, it is light. And here's the thing I will say about a chair. Everyone that I go with is just like, I don't need a chair. I won't need a chair. And then I'll be sitting in my chair, I'll get up to pee, and I'll come back, and whoever doesn't have the chair is now sitting in mine. And I'll be like, get out of my chair. And they'll be like, oh, I just want to sit in it for like 2 minutes. So, do you need a chair? No. Do you possibly want a chair? Yeah. So chair goes down. So now, sitting on the bottom of this bag, I'm not going to point this camera into it, but sitting right now on the bottom of this bag, I have my internal unit with my camera gear, I have the chair, I have the sleeping pad, and I have my jet boil and my fuel. That's all on the bottom. Okay? Some other stuff I throw on the bottom is my cribbage set. There's a weird thing that I put on the bottom, but obviously, like, you're not playing cribbage in the middle of the day, or maybe you are, but I throw my cribbage set on the bottom. This is from Compass Goods. Also in my description below, I have put a list of local vendors that I really like that provide gear, banana ink like the hat I'm wearing, Get Outside Idaho. Compass Goods makes this. They make this cool little chess and checkers set here. You can kind of see it just comes in this little bag. The board is actually like a bandana, so it's really light. And that's really cool for your kids if you want to play chess or checkers. So all this stuff. Another thing that I got this year was a Tenkara rod if you're into fishing. I mean, this thing's super light. This is from Tenkara Rod Company. They make this stuff out of Idaho Falls. Really cool if you're into fishing. Is the bear tooth, really nice. So just throw my little guy in here. Thank you, Lana Roth, owner of Banana Ink, who gave me that cribbage board. We have to play someday. Okay, the next thing that I'm gonna throw in there, and everyone's going to be like, oh my gosh. Stay. So the next couple things I have that go in there are the tent and the water filter. Let's start with the water filter. Again, we're talking super customizable here, so I'm gonna talk about water filters. You've probably seen that I use a gravity filter, okay? A gravity filter is exactly what it sounds like. You fill a bag, gravity filters the water, it goes into another bag, there's your clean water. I think that if you are not one of those ultralight 25-year-olds running out into the wilderness by yourself, a gravity filter is the way you should go, and probably the first water filter you can get. I have the 4-liter, they make it in a 2-liter. Is it expensive? Yeah, this is like 120 bucks, which is pretty expensive for a gravity filter, for a water filter. But again, just think of it. When you're in camp, it's super nice. This cleans, like you have a bag hanging up, it's gonna clean your dishes, it's going to, wash your hands. All your kids can go and just, get their water and blah, blah, blah. I'm going with my mother. She is, again, older. We're really concerned about weight for her. She's not gonna have to take a water filtration system because I've got this, and we're gonna be able to fill water with just this. If you are one of those solo people, or it's just you, or maybe it's just you and your girlfriend, and you're like, oh, we'll each have our water filter system. The other one to get is the Sawyer water filter system. So Sawyer makes this. You'll probably see everyone on YouTube, all those ultralight guys, they're rocking this. Really interesting system. So the other thing that I do in terms of carrying water, there's a couple of ways you can carry water. There's the camel's back way. I'm not a fan of the camel's back. I know that a lot of people, my girlfriend especially, is like, I want to be sucking water the whole time I'm hiking. My mom's kind of the same way. A lot of people are that way. I don't really want to shove 3 liters. I did it once and I just didn't like it. I have this Osprey camel's back that goes with my system here. I just don't really like having the bladder. It just takes up too much room. So what I do is I utilize the pockets. I should have had this with me, but just think of a Fiji water or a plastic water bottle right over here, okay? So like 50 liters. Now you have to stop and you have to consciously drink, but I stop a lot to just change lenses, to do stuff like that. So I use that more. When I'm solo hiking, it's super nice because all you have to do to filter your water with this Sawyer is scoop that 50-liter plastic bottle up, screw this on, and just start drinking. It's filtering as you're drinking. Super quick. You can just leave this on the whole time when you're solo hiking. If you're not, like I did in Hell's Canyon, I brought this gravity filter and I was kind of like, man, I wish I had that Sawyer. You got to stop. You got to fill your bag. You got to hang it up. You got to wait. Then you got to fill your bottle. So again, it just depends on what you're into, what you like, what you want to do. So for this trip, since I'm going with my mom, we're taking the platypus gravity filter. And that's going to go here. Is it the most accessible? Yeah. All right, tents next. So, I like Nemo. Nemo's a great company. I was talking to someone at REI and like the difference between like Jetboil. So I called Johnson & Johnson when I had that problem with my Jetboil, and they just go, yeah, whatever, you have a problem. Nemo is this really small company. If you ever have a problem with your tent or your gear, you'll call them and you'll probably get like the owner of the company. I really like that about them. They make great stuff. Is it cheap? No, but it's great. There's 2 tents that I have from Nemo. And if you don't have a tent and you have a family, a girlfriend, not even that, even if you're, like I went with my buddy Andrew, who's this single young guy. I'm like, are you ever going to, you know, have a special lady friend join you on your trip? Get a 2-person. So my first tent was the Nemo Dagger. This is it. It's kind of big because I've used it a lot, but this is probably the first tent. I do like it too as a solo tent because you just get to, you know, you have so much space with it. But I ponied up and I bought this one, which is the Hornet. And you can kind of see here how much different the size is. I haven't unpacked the Hornet, but you can kind of see, like, you're talking about half the size, which makes sense. 1-person, 2-person, half the size, blah, blah, blah. But I think if you don't have a tent yet, I think going with the 2-person first is the way to go. And then, you know, ponying up and getting that single when you become a awesome solo backpacker is next. So that goes in next. Man, I'm flying through this. Love it. Let's read some comments. I'm seeing comments over here. Brett Johnson, you have come so far in a year. Yeah? I have. Thank you, Brett. What's good from Denver? Keep up the content, my dude. Thanks, Dan. Rogue Trail is awesome. Thank you for covering Idaho. You're welcome. Back in the day, ultralight was designed for those who had a need for speed, not that they needed the lighter weight. Run through the Alps. I'm amazed. Lisa with the yeah. All right. So, not this bag. The other one. Okay, what else do we have here? I don't need this. What goes in next? Next is the sleeping bag. Here's my sleeping bag right now. So, what I'm using for a sleeping bag is the REI Igneo 17. REI does not make this sleeping bag anymore. They don't make it because they have this sleeping bag called the Magma 15. The Magma 15 is, I don't own because I own this one, but if you read any backpacking blog on the best lightweight sleeping bags and blah, 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 it's constantly like #1. I mean, from all intents and purposes, it sounds like the best lightweight sleeping bag. They made the Igneo at a price point that just didn't work. They were like, let's make a sleeping bag like the Magma that's a little bit cheaper. The Magma runs $400. They made this one $320. That's not enough of a price difference for people to be like, yeah, I'm gonna go with that Igneo. Everyone went for the Magma. So they discontinued this one. But I got it on sale for like $180 and I still love it. It's like 2 pounds and they make it in a long version. I have to have a long sleeping bag. It's great. So this is what I use. If you really want to splurge on an awesome bag like this, go for the Magma 15. Other bags that I recommend are if you're looking for a budget sleeping bag, and the one that I would recommend to most people is the Kelty Cosmic 20. I really like a bag too that they make. I mean, I think women kind of get a raw deal with the sleeping bags because a lot of, like, I don't know. A lot of bags, they're just like, here it is. We made it for guys, and if you're a woman, you can just use the guys version. The Kelty Cosmic, they make it in a men's and a women's version. They make it in long versions. So universal for everyone. It's not the smallest, but it's under 4 pounds. It packs pretty light, and it costs $180. So for most people, I would recommend that one. I also just bought for Sarah, and I am buying one for myself as well, the Nemo Disco 15. They got to work on the colors with that thing, but oh my gosh, is it comfy. Again, they make it in men's, women's, long men's. Like Sarah needs a long women's, I need a long men's. It's great for side sleepers. They make it in this spoon shape. It's, again, 3.5 pounds or something like that. Doesn't compress as much as this one. So when I need extra space, it's this one what I'm going with. But for most people, it's the Kelty Cosmic 20, and then the Nemo Disco 15 if you're looking for comfort. I think that one runs about 300, so that's right in the middle of the two. So those are my 3 options for you if you're really into sleeping bags. With your sleeping bag, you'll need a compression sack. This is the Ultra Sil compression sack by Aceta Summit. These are awesome. Kind of expensive, $35. REI also makes a compression sack, which, this is again, like, I don't know why people are knocking on REI. It's only $20 for 10 liters, so you save almost 50%. But it's not as light, but like, how much lightness do you need in your compression sack? Like, holy cow. So yeah, I don't know. One of those two. I have both links to both of them. So you know how this works probably. You can press your bag down. Hold on a second, I might disappear here for a second. I sit on my bag to get it really compressed. And that wasn't even the best that I could do, but you can kind of see bag compresses. Goes down. So my bag is like right in the middle. Look at how this bag is forming. You see that? There's my camera gear. I've got all my heavy stuff in the bottom. I've got my sleeping bag right in the middle. I've got my tent in here, and I've got plenty of room left. This is 65 liters again with the bag. It actually looks like I know what I'm doing. Okay, next is clothes. I think. Yep. Clothes and food, right? Okay, so what do I have for clothing? So gloves. I am a photographer. I get up in the morning and I'm touching metal. I want gloves, okay? You probably won't need them. Beanie. This is a smart wool beanie, super thin, super easy. Rain gear, obviously, this is Boise, Idaho. Most of my stuff is in the Pacific Northwest. I'm going to Oregon. Even if you aren't from the Pacific Northwest, you probably have heard of our rain. So rain gear is kind of tricky. I always take at least the top. And I also have the pants. For the Rogue River Trail, there is no rain in the forecast, but I'm taking the top. Smart wool, long underwear, thermal leggings, you know, for warmth at night. And if you need them when you're hiking, you probably won't. A mid layer. This is a fleece mid layer that REI makes. Again, I'm not going to get into the specifics of what this gear is. Links to them are in the description below. This is just what you should be looking for in terms of your gear. A fleece mid layer. So I like to break it up like this, like, oh, I'm also wearing what I hike in. So if you're like, what do you actually hike in? It's this. This is Columbia, the Silver Line, like hiking pants. These, I like the things that zips that can turn into shorts. That's a total dad move, but I like them. You know, it's got the little built-in belt. This is like a thermal type shirt that wicks away sweat. Don't wear cotton. That's a big thing. Don't wear cotton. So you have this layer. You've got the mid layer, the long underwear. I take 3 pairs of socks. Some people you should take at least 2. If your socks get wet, you want another pair. Your feet are super important. I have never gotten blisters. I just got blisters for the first time in Hell's Canyon. I wore 2 pairs of socks overnight because my feet were kind of cold. And I woke up, I put my shoes on the next day, I started hiking, and I took 1 step and I felt that blister and just went, ah. Because I wore the 2 pairs of socks, and that doesn't allow it, you know, the sock closest to your foot to wick away the sweat, got wet, had a blister. So your feet are super important. I take the socks I'm wearing now, plus 2 extra pairs. What is on my feet? A lot of people ask me what I wear for shoes. So this is what I used to wear. Something like this. These are Merrell hiking boots and waterproof, and they are heavy. I mean, they're heavy. I went to REI, and I looked at the shoes, and I was like, let me try that pair, and that pair. And the gentleman went back into the back, and he says, here's the 3 shoes you requested. By the way, try these. My buddy just did the PCT in them. And so I tried these first, and I said, take these 3 back. Those are my shoes forever and ever. These are the Hoka Speed Goat 4s. As soon as I tried them on, I became Hoka for life. Like, they are incredible. So you can kind of see they got this weird, they're thick. They're like pillows on your feet kind of thing. I mean, they're worn. I've had them for a year. I've put a lot of miles on them, and I've stuck them too close to the fire a few times. Brett and I both damaged our shoes at Loon Lake trying to dry them out because we took that scummy hike back to the plane. But they stick together. I have never had a problem with in terms of waterproofness. They're not waterproof. The thing is, they just dry out super quickly. So if your feet get wet, they're dry like that. Forget trying to be waterproof. The problem with waterproof is if you actually get water into this, it's not going to dry. You're screwed. So this is the new wave. Light, quick dry, super fast, a lot of traction. Hoka. I can't even, they should sponsor me. I'll never be off the Hoka train. As soon as the Speedgo 5's out, I'm the first one. I'm pre-ordering them. So yeah, big believer in those shoes if you're looking for shoes. Sticking with our clothing here, so I've got a couple of other things. So these are the pants for rain, the rain pants. I don't think, if there's no rain in the forecast, I won't take these. If there's heavy rain in the forecast, I'll still go out and I'll take these. But if there's no rain in the forecast, I'll just take the top. So rain pants are gone. The other weird thing that I take, and again, people are going to be like, I don't know. It's up to you. This is a woven pullover by REI. So, you know, the rain jacket is expensive. The other things that I take are, sorry, I'm out of frame. You know, you got to have your down layer. So this is the down layer I started with. This is the Mountain Hardwear Ghost Whisperer 2. It's really light. This costs like $200. And on day one, I put a fat hole in it from a fire. I still have this one. This isn't my favorite. down jacket. This is my favorite down jacket. This is the, I mean, by the way, as a photographer, look at that color. That's a good color. I actually buy clothes based on their color. So this is a Patagonia. This is the Nano Puff or Micro Puff. It's down in the description. This is great. It's a little bit heavier than that Ghost Whisperer, but way warm. I love the color. I just hiked with this on the outskirts through like brush and bramble and whatnot, and it hasn't ripped yet. It's a synthetic down, so if you have a problem with down, that's great. By the way, Amazon doesn't sell Patagonia, so you got to get this through REI. Maybe they do sell Patagonia. They don't sell this. So the big thing is these are expensive. This one's about 200 bucks. I like to be warm. I also like to have a fire. I don't really want this damaged. I don't want to be like dripping, eating on it. I don't want fire to get it. So I take this kind of big, heavy woven thing that costs like 20 bucks. This is like some pullover. Apologies for the mic and the scratching and whatnot. And this is how I sit around a campfire. Oh my. Oh my. There we go. Look at that. So now I'm warm. Sorry if you can't hear me. Now I'm warm. And now I'm protected. Stuff can hit this. You can, bramble can hit this. It's indestructible. It's only 20 bucks. If you get holes in it, you're not going to care. And then you're not freaking out the whole time you're sitting next to a fire in your nice down jacket. So I do take this. You might not want to, but I take it. So little hack there for you. Whew! I'm hotting this down. It's so nice. It's so nice. So let me show you how I pack clothes now that we have it all here. I'm not going to pack that down thing. Usually, I start hiking with that and then it goes in the top of my bag. It rarely goes into my compression sack. Just throw that over there. So if you're not sure what these rolls are, this is it's what's called an army roll, I think, because this is how the military does it. But basically, take this bottom here, fold it. You can find tons of videos on this, so I'm just going to do it real quick here. Bam, 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 bam. And then you roll it up. And you have this little crease here, folded on itself like this. And now you have a roll. See that? And then to just make it even more compressed, you can throw all this in your bag, but I like to keep everything together, keep it clean, keep it in a bag. I put it in another compression sack, so then it all goes into the compression sack. And I have 2 compression sacks. It depends on how much clothing I'm taking. I might switch out to my smaller one, but for just now, we'll throw all this in. Into the compression sack. Dead air. Can't have dead air. Let's see. Back in the day. All right, so that was a real rush job of this compression sack. But here's my clothes. Bam, bam, bam. Yep, I could probably go with the smaller one. But there is my clothes. And that goes in there. Okay, so now the inside of my bag is almost full. The last thing is just that actually goes inside. Oh, I forgot the pillow. Usually the pillow goes in the bottom. This is my pillow. We'll gloss over it real quick. This is the, again from Climate, the Climate Pillow X, super small inflatable pillow. If you need a pillow. That's the other thing about that Nemo Disco bag that's really cool when I was talking about comfort. The Nemo Disco and some of the newer bags have these things where this actually you can zip into the sleeping bag. So you can blow this up, you can zip it into the Nemo bag, and then it's not sliding around everywhere. I really dig that about that bag. So, pillow, just, I mean, wherever, it's so small. Let's see if anything else actually goes in it. I don't think so. Okay. So, I don't have a ton of food with me. If you've ever seen my videos, I just use trail mix mostly. Really, for this one, I'm going with my mom. So I'm going to raid her fridge. She's got a dehydrator going right now. She's dehydrating salmon and a bunch of stuff. Yeah, so that's where I'm going to get all my food. So if you've ever seen, we are going to the Rogue River Trail. There are a lot of, that's bear country. So we've really been debating the whole bear thing. And, you know, I don't know if you know this, but in Idaho, we have an estimated 30,000 black bears here. We have grizzly bears in the eastern part of the state and the northern part of the state. So bears are a big deal. If you want to take a bear canister, here's what it's going to entail. This is a bear canister. Holy cow, do you want to drag this thing around? Probably not. So, so the big thing is I use these. My dad bought me these and they've worked great. You want some odor seal bags. Just try to seal up that odor in them. I don't really pack something too smelly, but my mom's saying like dehydrated salmon. That'll go in the odor bag, and then we're gonna try it. Hopefully no bears come. Go into like a dry bag. So this is a dry bag that REI makes. This is 10 liters. Again, just depends on you and your family. I have different sizes of bags and stuff like that, but this is a nice thin bag. Make sure it's a dry bag, by the way. The other bag that I was looking at is Ursac makes this bear bag that is a total piece of shit. Like, don't get that. I don't like that bag. It's not odor proof. It's kind of big. You know, some parks require you to have a bear canister or something that's bear resistant and certified bear safe. That bag is not certified bear safe. And above all else, it's not waterproof. Like, you're gonna have dew. I mean, even if it doesn't rain, it'll be wet. So make sure you just get something that's dry, some sort of dry bag, so that when you hang your bag up at night and you leave it out, don't sleep with it. It doesn't get wet. Okay, and so now my bag is somewhat packed, at least the inside of it. And it's kind of lumpy, you can kind of see, oh yeah, you're nice and you're nice. Let's take a look at this camera situation again. As you can see now that it's all packed in there, this is how I'm pulling my camera stuff out. Oh, where's the other side is where the zippers are. I always got to remember to keep the zippers, you know, somewhat close to me, but bam. And now I've got access to my lenses, all my other stuff. If I want to change a lens, I've made the bottom into my basically camera compartment. You can see there with the sleeping bag all set up. So all the weights in the bottom. I haven't, you know, I've done this a lot because everything's packed together, because the stuff on top is, you know, a sleeping bag, clothing. I have a little pad here. This internal unit is all padded. I think it protects everything pretty well. I mean, don't drop your bag on the ground. But other than that, like, there it is. And yes, I know all of this stuff is out. I'm going to show you there in a second. All right, this is where it gets fun. So that's all the essentials. And here's a couple of other tricks that I have. So the other stuff that you need, where should I even start? So you obviously need a med kit. This is a nice little med kit. You can get bigger ones, whatever. Those ultralight bags, again, those ultralight bags won't have like these pockets on them. I don't know if you need them, but I like them. I like to keep a battery in there or something like that. But I also keep my med kit right there. Supposedly you're just supposed to keep your med kit handy in case you need something. You need it at a moment's notice. So it's right there next to me. In the other pocket that I need for a moment's notice is a knife. You know, I just got a basic knife in there. I don't even think I left a link to this knife. It's just like an Amazon basic knife with some flint. That goes in the other pocket. So now I have knife at the ready, med kit at the ready. Some other stuff that we'll need to go in the pockets is my cooking utensils, which is just a spoon, plastic spoon for this trip. Jetboil makes this actually. Your trowel tool. So this is my trowel tool. You know what that's about. Pooping in the woods. Yep. It's super thin, but it's super strong. They make these in 3 sizes. I got the biggest one because I don't want to be freaking digging a hole for when I gotta take a crap. So that's the trowel tool. And then a headlamp. Obviously, I think a good headlamp, invest in a good headlamp. I went with a cheap headlamp for so long, and it's like, why? So I used to have to take, you know, one of those little lamps, but now I just use the headlamp. And the other cool thing, it's kind of gimmicky, but I think it's cool, that those Nemo tents have is they have a place where you can stick your headlamp, and basically like it diffuses the light, spreads it out around the whole tent. So you can turn your headlamp, I can turn my headlamp in the tent into an actual lamp that just illuminates the whole tent. If you're into, you know, photography, that real cool shot of the tent being lit up at night, that was half the reason I was taking one of those janky lamps. I don't know where it is. But you know, now I just need this, so that's great. These all go up here. Again, if you're an ultralighter, I don't think you have this part. I like to have a brain. That's what this part's called. You can take this off actually of this bag and go without the brain if you want to save time and size and weight, but I'm taking that. So again, stuff that I need, that you need at the ready. Trowel tool, like I don't really need that at the ready, but that's the way to go. Headlamp. This is where my batteries and all that fun stuff go. My batteries and my SD cards, so that I can have them at the ready go up there. Don't forget about that toilet paper. Toilet paper, I just put it in a little, you know, plastic Ziploc. Goes in there. Rope, you should always have rope to at least hang up your food. I keep rope in there. And then I have, oh yeah, and all my toiletries. Let's just take a look at what I have in the toiletries here real quick before I throw them in there. So pretty much I take, you know, sunscreen, I take floss, I take toothpaste, toothbrush, I take eye drops, I take lip balm, I take off wipes for bugs so that I don't have the spray. And then I'm super into fire. Like in here is a lighter, matches, and I also have this Go Fire stuff. I really recommend if you are into fire, like I'm not running around wanting to rub sticks together or really spend a lot of time being Bear Grylls out there. I have this Go Fire. You can order it. It comes in like this canister here. And I just take these little packets with me, one for each day. You throw them in there, you light them, you drop them in, your fire is going. I don't want to waste time. So that's what I take in that part. Zip this up. And throw that back in the brain. Bam! All right, let's get into some fun stuff. So, a couple of other things that I have here. Power. How does a professional photographer keep his battery charged? This is the Goal Zero Sherpa 100. Bam. It's about a $300 unit. I got the one with this thing in case I ever need like to take my laptop with me or charge the drone or something. Like my camera can charge here with these USB models, but you know, I think this one's 300, and then if you want the one without this thing, it's 200. If I just charged this and took it out, it would charge about 4 or 5 of my Sony batteries. Like if I didn't charge it at all. Cords go on the side. It's pretty light, but it is heavy. Again, they obviously make smaller stuff for your phone and things like that. But as a professional wanting power and needing a lot of power, this is what I take. It goes in my outer pocket here with a cord that keeps it charging all day. So I plug this cord in just like so, and I shove that in here. And let's go the other way. I have a couple of solar panels. I just bought this one. This is a 10 watt Goal Zero solar panel. I can charge my phone and stuff directly from it, or my GPS system that I'll show you in a minute. It's really not that powerful. If I hike with this all day, and I mean, it's got to be pointing at the sun. So you just think about hiking with it all day. It's not always in the sun. It's not direct. I'm getting between 10 to 20% back with a whole day of hiking. So it's not much. Like if I make it to camp early and I can actually move it and direct it with the sun, it does a lot better. But just with it hiking, there's that. But my other option is the 20 watt, which, it's just so big. It's just so big, so heavy, got so many cords. So I have just gone for being, you know, a little lighter, a little more nimble. So let's just see. So I plug it in. Come on. And I just kind of find just a place to clip this. Right here is fine for now. It's probably got to be higher up, yeah, or it's going to slide down. But let's not waste your time here trying to clip this thing all day. I'll get that situated. So there you go. I've got my solar right on the back of my bag there. You've probably seen that before in my videos and been like, what's he doing? That's what I'm doing. So the other fun stuff is this. All right. Let's talk about protection, people. This is bear spray, if you couldn't tell. It's just interesting that I've talked to so many people that are against carrying bear spray. Like my aunt's like, as long as I have someone with me, we're making enough noise and I don't care. Like after Alaska, the most like dangerous wilderness in the United States is probably situated in the Idaho, Montana, Wyoming area. Like we've got wolves, we've got mountain lions, we've got black bears, we've got grizzly bears. Like I feel like, especially if you're like me, going out by yourself, kind of making a silent hiking film, you should carry some protection. I am not against carrying a gun. In fact, I carried a gun with me until I shot myself with the bear spray and realized, oh, that'll work. Bear spray works for like mountain lions. It'll work with bears. I'm not against carrying a gun, but really, if it's sitting in your waist, that's uncomfortable. It's heavy. As someone that creates content for YouTube, like I feel the best way to carry a gun is up here. One, I don't want to be that guy on YouTube. Two, YouTube will recognize that there's a gun and they will not promote the videos to the extent that they can be promoted. So kind of like I stopped carrying guns and now I just carry the bear spray. And I don't know. I personally think you should just carry some. It just takes that one encounter, and like obviously 999 out of 1,000 times you're not going to have an encounter, but I plan on backpacking for, I don't know, 50 more years consistently. I'm probably going to run into something eventually. I have run into a bear before. It wasn't my proudest moment. I was with people. It ran. I ran. This holster is great. So normally these come with cheap holsters. This is made by a company called Mystery Ranch. There's a link in the description down below. You can find it on REI. It's just nice, you know. So you have like a couple of layers of protection here with this. It's like $30, but after spraying myself with bear spray, I was like, I want a better way of carrying this. So it goes there, and this is going to clip to the front of my bag. Yep, on this side I'm going to put it on. So it goes through the loops here. Get on there. It's a live show. Don't fail me now. All right, there it is. So it's pretty easy. I got bear spray. I'm sure I'm getting hit with comments about animals right now. That's a crazy big pack. Oh, I'm not. Okay. So there's the bear spray that goes on one thing, and it's just easily accessible. I also take a GPS. This is the Garmin Mini InReach. So it's really small. Focus. You can kind of see. So let me just break this product down for you. So it's kind of expensive. The Garmin hooks up to your phone. So I obviously bring my phone to fly my drone, to work the Garmin. It comes with you have to get a subscription. The nice thing is you can always pause your subscription. So it's a month to month, and then you can pause it indefinitely. So you got to pay for the month, but you know, once November hits, you just hit pause, you stop paying. June comes around, unpause, you start paying again. For the basic membership, it's 10 text messages, the SOS, insurance. So there's an actual insurance that comes with your SOS system. It's not cheap for a Lifeline to come get you if you have a problem in the woods. Again, here in Idaho, we've got rattlesnakes, bears, cougars, rock slides, everything. Who knows what could go wrong? You could just twist your knee. So I have, health insurance, and then I have this special insurance that comes with my membership. And then I actually have the plan above the basic. That's $40 a month. It gives me 40 text messages. Even if you're not going far, we really love this product. You know, we have a 15-year-old. Sarah and I go do romance hikes, hashtag romance hike, out there. And we just want to know, like, we leave Trayden at home by himself. We want to know how he's doing. We can text him with this. If you have kids, even if you're not going far, if you're just going somewhere where it's like, you know, my 12-year-old and my 14-year-old, or my 14-year-old is going to watch my 12-year-old. I want to make sure they're doing okay. I want to make sure they can get a hold of me. Having one of these is really cool, just to be able to just be like, hey, how are you? Call, you know, text us when you wake up. When I did that solo hiking thing in Hell's Canyon just now, is the first time I had it for a solo trip. Man, I love being out there by myself. I love the phone not working, but I mean, I don't want to be disconnected from my family. Like, I love my family. I don't want them to worry about me and to be like, oh, I hope John comes out in 5 days. I'm able to check in with them with this. So really cool products, really increased just the joy I get from backpacking. So that's the endorsement I'll give this. That goes here. All right. Last thing, so the camera. So what I have for my camera is a Peak Design system. Peak Design makes a full system. As you can see, I have a Peak Design plate right on the bottom of this camera. You can kind of see it right there. So that works with the Peak Design tripod. This is the Peak Design travel tripod. This is the best adventure travel tripod you can get. It is $400 for the aluminum version, $600 for the carbon fiber version. I have the carbon fiber version. You probably don't need it. The one nice thing about this is that it'll extend to my height. So if you need like a shot that's up high, that's nice. This old tripod that I had, which is $60, you can see how much bigger just the tripod is in terms of, and it's gonna come up to like your belly in terms of that. But you know, if you're just an amateur, the other tripod that you can get is you know, a Joby. Put it on trees, do whatever with it. I think these are like $80. Those work. A little tripod hack for you is I roll gaff tape onto the tripod. You can kind of see there. Just if you ever need tape, focus. If you ever need tape or something, or your tent poles break or whatever, I keep some gaff tape on my tripod. It's a really good tripod hack. Chad Case taught me that. And then like, so that Peak Design clip, I'll just show you real quick. I'm in the tripod. I'm out of the tripod real fast. So that's my tripod situation. The other part of it that they make, and I'm not taking it with me for this one, I'll show you why in just a second, is they make a camera strap. So if you want to throw a camera strap, that's what these little things on here are. You can kind of see it right there. Focus. See that little thing? Your camera strap just boom. Now I'm in the camera strap. Now I'm out. So it's just really fast. So that's kind of the system that I have. And then this is the camera clip. You've probably heard of these before. It's right there. So the camera locks in like that. And then I want it out. I'm out. So let's put the bag on. This is I'm sorry for the audio here. Oh, so light. And there we go. I'm ready for the 40 miles on the Rogue River with my mom. Oh, this goes in the pocket back here. And then my water bottle goes in the other side. My medical kit is here. My knife is here. Toilet paper and batteries are on the top. All my stuff is in here. Bear spray, GPS, camera, solar panel on the back. And that's my setup.